Chief. You might as well just stay up there. First one has to do with accepting a grant.
So the police department has received a grant from the COPS office for $182,451.34. This is to cover for 2 years to hire a crisis intervention specialist. It'll cover all their salary. It also provides us $16,412.96 for training for them as well as our interns, and also provides $14,417.67 for related equipment we need for those jobs as well. There any?
Crisis intervention specialist do, Chief?
It's basically a social worker.
Okay.
They've been working. We've had 2 interns at the police department for the last couple of years.
So
It's
did
been-
you say it would hire a specialist and pay for the interns as well?
It doesn't pay for the interns. It only pays for the full-time employee that
So
we're going
you
to hire.
would keep the interns too,
We'll keep
though?
the interns too.
And so this person would be a full-time employee
Correct.
and be housed where?
In the front office, we have a place for them, and we're going to find a place for them in the front office for now. Once the prosecutor's office moves out of our building, we have office space for them.
Yeah.
I am trying.
And then what's your goal after 2 years?
We're going to evaluate the program. If it's a success, we'll come back and ask the council to give us this position later. We don't know yet whether we're going to have a successful program or not until we try it. If we see a
Can you
benefit
just
to it.
briefly talk about what this person would do?
Yeah, they basically try to take off some repetitive people that we have issues with at the police department. That's what our interns do. It tries to keep them out of contact with the police, get them help outside of police services, so we're not having to put them in jail. They may have a mental issue or a homeless issue. They're able to get them referred for services and keep them out of the
And
system.
how long have you done that with interns?
About 2 years.
And how's that working?
It's been great.
They stay busy.
We've had a lot of success with the interns. There was a lot of hesitation to it when we did it at first. Chief Peters actually instituted that when he was here. The officers were kind of resistant to it because they didn't know what to think at first, but they've had a lot of
So
success.
how do they get
since
the
they've done it.
referral? How would they get the referral to the specialist now, I guess?
I mean, I've got 2. They're actually here right now. If you'd like to hear
No,
anything from them.
how do they get referrals, or how will they get referrals?
They get referrals from officers that have dealt with the people. They'll refer them.
Not from the court,
The court could refer people as well. Yes.
and sometimes does or doesn't?
Captain Wright, do you know if the court has been referring anybody to the program? Yes. Yes, they
Sometimes-
have.
Sometimes.
I move the resolution be forwarded to the council for recommendation for approval.
All right, anybody else with any questions? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Thank you. Item number 2.
So this second item is to ask to move money from the insurance account, which we did earlier this year to pay for the hail damage.
Mm-hmm.
We had a vehicle that was totaled, an unmarked vehicle, and we got a check for $28,220. We would like to have that money transferred to be able to purchase an unmarked vehicle. It'll be a used vehicle, so we can replace the one that was totaled. That vehicle belonged to one of our narcotics detective, and there's some requirements that the car be under a certain age, a certain number of miles to meet the HIDA grant requirements. They actually reimburse the city so much money a year for vehicles.
Do those cars get fitted any special way?
No, it's just an unmarked car.
Move the resolution be forwarded to the council for recommendation for approval.
Second.
Any further questions? All those in favor of that motion, please say aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, thank you. Item 3.
This last item, you guys gave us approval earlier this year to order 14 marked police units, and we're needing to ask for the money to pay for those vehicles. The vehicles are on state bid, and we'll need $638,260 for the vehicles. And then the rest of this is for equipment, $212,839.97. You may remember when we went through the budget meeting, I had mentioned that we were going to look at adding new MDTs, which is mobile data terminals, to our computers that are in the cars, and that's part of the equipment package. That's $70,687.40, and those will be purchased through a buy board. The bulk of the equipment, $130,381.19, was through the bid process, is all the related equipment for the vehicle. The two things that weren't through the bid process were window tinting, that I'm not sure if we're gonna do yet, but that'll be $1,400. And then the graphics to wrap the vehicles is $10,371.38, and that's the same company we've been using for the last several years.
Who's that?
Graphics by
I've got it
Mike.
here. Give me just a second. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Graphics by Mike.
Yeah, graphics by Mike.
Are they local?
Yes,
So we authorized you to go ahead and order the cars, correct?
correct,
Are-
but never authorized the payment for the
Are
cars.
they in?
They're not in yet.
But, okay, so why are we doing this now? 'Cause they're
I was
gonna
asked
be
to
in?
bring it back to council to get the funding to pay for the vehicles.
Well, I know,
and the
but are they
equipment.
gonna be in like really soon or?
They could be here anytime, but we need the money to order the equipment also.
Yeah.
I don't have a date when the vehicles are gonna be delivered yet.
Okay, but when did we order them?
Believe it was in August.
Okay, and we did not actually make an amendment to the 2022 budget when we did that, correct?
That is correct.
So this would do the amendment to the 22 budget?
Yes.
Is that right, Kobe?
This is asking for, I believe, Ernest, did we use the language unrestricted fund?
We did.
So this isn't going to amend it and put it into any specific fund. This is just taking it directly out of
Out
the
of just the
unrestricted,
unrestricted
yes.
funds?
And it's actually, we had estimated $1 million, so we're actually about $150,000 less than what we had estimated.
And so it really doesn't make any difference whether we do it now or do it next month? Does it?
Not on the books, but I believe it played a role in getting the price that we got to go ahead and
do
pay
it.
for them now.
But as far as the changing of the budget or putting it in next year's budget,
No.
it's all the same money?
That's correct.
I'll make a motion that we move this forward to council with recommendation for approval.
All right, any further discussion?
Yeah, just to make sure, those are Ford Explorer Interceptors.
They're
right?
Ford Explorer Interceptors, yes, and they're hybrid vehicles.
All right, all those in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? All right, we'll close the finance committee. Thank you.
We'll open up the ordinance committee meeting. We have one item on the agenda. It's a discussion about amending section 110-137 and section 110-138 of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Springdale, and Ernest Kate will explain it to us.
Thank you. This is on the item, this is on the agenda as a discussion item only. It's actually going to Planning Commission tomorrow night for a public hearing and will be on the council agenda next Tuesday. Just wanted to give you a heads up that it was coming. It basically streamlines the process for the assignment, review, and approval of street names. It changes the primary responsibility from the planning department to the IT department. Planning's on board with this, and it also removes a requirement that any changes would have to go through planning commission before it comes to city council. It can come straight to city council. It also gives us our first opportunity to save the city some money on publication costs and use a different notification platform as opposed to a newspaper. Using our website and social media platforms for public notice as opposed to spending money in a newspaper. So, like I said, it's on the planning commission agenda tomorrow night. Because the way it's written now, it has to go to planning commission first before it comes to you, but that will be the last time since this would change that. So, happy to, and Clayton's here if you have any questions as well from IT. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what involvement would the city council have in this?
Just a final approval?
Well, I'm not sure that that's true. And it doesn't look like that's changed, but it looks like it's just only if there's an appeal, the city comes to the city council. Is that correct,
Or
Ernest?
any proposed amendments to the street address map in section 110-138. The way it's written now, it has to go to planning commission first after publication in the newspaper. That would change to where it could come straight to city council. I'm not sure why amendment to the street address map had to go to planning commission in the
That's-
first place, but.
Back in the original ordinance in the 90s, that was just how it was written. We have had instances in the past where we've had to assign a non-standard address to somebody, just because of issues that they've been having with either mail delivery or emergency services or something like that. And that's when you would see an actual appeal of an address assignment. And it just bypasses the planning commission at that point.
You'll be seeing it on December 13th.
What?
You'll be seeing it on December 13th because it's coming to planning commission tomorrow night. Then it'll come to council on the 13th for consideration. I'm just giving y'all a heads up.
This was a heads up tonight. There's no action for you to take.
Have we been thinking about doing any kind of bid proposals through IT instead of newspaper? I know other cities are doing it for,
Well, there is obviously an online platform now for bids. I don't know how much we use it, but I do know one exists. I'm curious to see how the legislature approaches this issue. I do know the municipal league's on board with some pretty wholesale changes with publication of notices of public hearing, but we'll just have to see what the final legislation looks like. There are lots of instances, rezoning applications is the best example I can think of, where the statute requires us to publish notice in the newspaper. This is one of those instances that we're not required to by statute. So that's why we took the opportunity to change it. So we'll have to wait and see what the legislature does, because the city spent a lot of money on publication costs over the last several years. So, and we all know not many people, I don't mean to slight the newspaper, but people get their news from all sorts of sources these days, not just the newspaper, so. Anyway. Lorena's not here, so.
No.
she's watching, I bet.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Thank you, Iris.
Thank you.
There's nothing else?
Are we planning on having a second council meeting in December?
Well, I think we'll have it on the agenda for y'all to decide. Y'all could,
Gonna be a tight schedule on our lunch.
one's planning.
Yeah.
Well,
I just know it fell between Christmas and New
Yeah.
Year's.
right. We'll, I don't think, in the 14 years I've been mayor, I don't think we've ever had a second meeting. Unless maybe it was a special budget meeting one year or something, because we were trying to get a budget done. Yeah, Washington County might have. We can go to Washington County's meeting instead. But we can make, do they need to vote on that at council if they're gonna cancel a meeting? I don't remember how we usually
I
do
would like for
it.
them to just make folks aware so they're not looking.
We can put that on the agenda for,
I'm thinking
Next week.
earlier the better.
You know,
Yeah.
and I'm
That's
glad you
true.
brought that up, because our first committee meeting in January
that's right.
would be on the 2nd, and that's the day the city's off for New Year's Day, and planning commission is the 3rd. So I'm not
So we
gonna
need to
have-
deal with that then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
We could either do it, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we could do it on the 2nd, but if y'all wanted to wait and do it on the 3rd, we could do that.
actually, both committee meetings are gonna be affected by holidays in January.
Yeah.
So which one, today's the 5th, right?
Yes.
And the 13th.
You have the meeting on the 13th and then nothing else. If you
and then
cancel the
nothing else.
second council meeting, there'd be no need to have a committee meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I thought it was the 19th and then nothing.
Yeah, it would be the first committee meeting would be the Monday, the 2nd,
Or
or if you wanted to do it.
Wednesday, the 3rd.
The 4th, because planning
Yeah,
commission's the
4th.
3rd.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be Wednesday, the 4th. So y'all can think on that and we'll make it official next Tuesday, what y'all want to do in January. And for sure, if you want to cancel your second council meeting in December.
And then we'll, Judge Harper.
The 4th?
I don't have any problem having
Judge
it on the
Harper's
second.
flexible in the swearing in.
I mean,
We can
it's
go-
not New Year's Day. I mean,
enforce over-
City Hall's closed, but we can still have our meeting.
Put the
That just gives us, that gives our folks more time. When we have it on a Wednesday, I mean, it's fine when we have to, but if we don't have to, that it makes it a pretty quick turnaround for us to get stuff ready for council.
Hartford
Yeah, I know.